Welcome to the No Dress Code Pod, where we keep it real, celebrate Black excellence, and dive into the things that matter most. Tune in, vibe out, and let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of the No Dress Code Pod. I'm your favorite host, as well as your favorite hoochie, legs out, not open, Bree. And if this is your first time listening, or if you're a returning listener, then you already know what to say. Then thank you, thank you, thank you. Because where would I be without you? Now, you guys already know how we start this episode off. Before we get into this, I would need to do a mental health check in and see how you are doing mentally. How's your week going? Okay. If you're not having a good week, drop it in the comments and let me know. Although there's nothing I can do for you in this moment, I will continue to speak it over you and pray that you have an amazing week going forward. So getting in today's episode, I know I said on day one, uh, we don't really do politics over here. And we don't. I personally don't give a fuck who you voted for. I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't matter who you voted for at this point because it's not going to change it. Um, but the president that we do have is presidenting, to say the least. I personally don't agree with all his policies. That's why I personally didn't vote for him. But you know, America won, so America gets what it gets. The policy though, in particular, that I decided to share or that I decided to talk about, was his DEI policy, and I felt like leading into Black History Month, that would be a great topic for us today. Um, so I don't know if y'all been on social media the way I've been on social media, but if you've seen the memes or the post about how we are going back to 1955, baby, we are going back to 1955. Because I think segregation, I think Jim Crow ended in 65. I could be wrong, but I feel like it was 63, 65 in the South for sure. I'm gonna look it up and then I'm gonna insert it on the screen somewhere because I know it's around that time. Um, so I decided to do this episode solo because it's a lot. And honestly, I've already been arguing with people in the comments about shit, and I don't want to sit here and argue with no motherfucking guest. Okay. I done been in people's comments, and normally I don't comment, and I'll get into that later, like a completely different episode later as to why I don't normally comment on people's stuff. But that whole "we are not our ancestors" thing, I get it. I get what y'all saying, but I just want y'all to know, like, without our ancestors, we wouldn't be where we are today. Now, to you, that might be nowhere, and to you, it's like, where are we? Because I seen one girl. I don't know if it was a girl or if it was a guy. They only had 2 followers, and I normally don't even check people like that. But I said, "Oh, baby, you only got 2 followers. I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you. I'm not. That's just telling me you're a spam page. I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you." And they was like, because I had commented to somebody else, and I was just like, I understand what they're saying, but our ancestors had to walk so that our ancestors had to crawl so that we could walk, and therefore the future can run. They messaged me back. I wasn't even really referring to them. They messaged me back talking about our ancestors didn't do enough. Um, we fight. I fight. I've only been here for 43 years, and they have 400 years of struggling, and I'm tired already. Well, bitch, I don't see you doing nothing. I don't see you in the streets. Okay, talking about marching ain't enough, baby. It might not be, but they was boycotting. Did they not? I mean, let's not forget the Montgomery bus boycott. Like, stop fucking playing with me. I get the sentiment that we say around the "we are not our ancestors," but baby, stop fucking playing with me. They crawled so we could walk, so that the next generation can run. Stop fucking playing with me. I decided to again make this a solo episode because it's not just about unpacking the policy, it's about connecting the dots between the systematic change and the lived realities of Black Americans. Um, Policies like Project 2025 don't exist in a vacuum. They ripple through our schools, our neighborhoods, our workplaces, and ultimately our futures. Um, if you don't know about Project 2025, and I'll be honest, I didn't really know too much about it. I did look it up before I voted just to make sure that I particularly was voting the way I felt like I believed in. Um, and a lot of companies have rolled back their DEI programs. I will personally just link what DEI means because I ain't got it off the top of my head. I'm just be honest with y'all. I feel like it's diversity something, diversity, equality, and inclusion. But I could be wrong. So I'm gonna just link it on the. I'm gonna just put it on the screen and let y'all. If I'm wrong, I got y'all. Um, Target for one, and that when I say I hurt my soul, Target and Amazon really hurt my soul when they was like, oh well, DEI is no longer a thing, and we not going with that no more because Target had a whole fucking campaign about supporting black business and being all about black business, and all of a sudden, because y'all don't have to no more, now it's fuck them, baby. That's why I said, you know what, I'm gonna keep my black dollars at Costco. And if y'all know, I love me some Costco, especially a Costco hot dog. And this ain't sponsored, but I really feel like they should be sponsoring me at this point. But Costco said, "Oh, it don't matter what happened with the law. We still gonna uphold our DEI project, our DEI, and that is so fucking important." Um, so some of the things we'll talk about in this episode is what is Project 25 and why does it matter, the historical context of how policies like this have affected Black communities in the past, the specific way Project 2025 could change the game for us, and what we can do about it. Because, you know, okay, here at No Dress Code, we don't just stop at the problem. Okay, we come up with a solution for y'all, and that's important. So what is Project 2025? All right, so let's start with the basics. Project 2025. If you, I'm just be honest. That name is just too fucking long for me. Okay, we're gonna number it down to Project 25. Okay, so Project 25, if you haven't heard about it, don't I wouldn't feel too bad. I mean, like I said, I didn't know about it till I voted and I looked it up briefly. But it is essentially a conservative roadmap for reshaping the federal government. It's backed by powerful people, powerful think tanks like the Heritage Foundation, and its goals are broad, but they're supposed to be focused. They're looking to reduce the size of federal government, cut regulations, and promote policies that align with their conservative ideology. If you're not conservative, then this probably ain't gonna be for you. Let's keep it 100. You probably won't even like the policies and shit that comes along with it. Now you might hear that and think, okay, but what does that actually mean for me? Well, it means a lot. And part of what it means is they plan to scale back federal oversight in education. This could mean less funding for public schools, particularly in black and brown neighborhoods, which already face significant disparities. So think about your kids and the schools that they go to, and how that will generally and genuinely affect them. A lot of y'all kids ain't even being taught right anyway. I'm keeping it 100 with you. Trump wanted to take Black history out of fucking American schools anyway, and I don't know about y'all, but I had a daddy who at least I was being taught the bare minimum of Black history in school. But I came home to that man, and that man taught me Black history as if it was the Bible. Okay, that man lived, breathed, and in my opinion, died Black history. Okay, it's just one thing you can't tell me no different about when it comes to that man. In healthcare, there's a push to roll back parts of the Affordable Care Act. Now we know that many Black Americans already are more likely to be underinsured or uninsured, and this would only widen that gap. I almost told y'all what healthcare I got. It don't matter. Okay, it don't matter what I got. Just know that's probably gonna affect me as well. Um, and when it comes to environmental policy, they're talking about loosening regulations that protect our air and water, which, let's be real, because it's an issue that so many Black communities are already dealing with, environmental justice. Um, Baby, I don't know if they even fixed the Flint water yet, and I feel like that was before COVID. So that was before 2020, and we are in 2025 now. It's truly only gonna get worse from here. Like if you think that it's gonna get any better, I hate to be the one to tell you that it's not. And although I said this before, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Although I can give off that vibe from time to time, but I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Um, so to understand why Project 2025 is such a big deal, we have to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. This isn't the first time policies have been presented as neutral or for everyone, but ended up disproportionately harming Black communities, like redlining, for example. When they made it hard for Black people to buy homes, and not even just in certain communities, but buy homes. Period. In the 1930s, the federal government created maps to determine which neighborhoods were worthy of investment, and Black neighborhoods automatically marked as risky. That decision shut Black families out of home ownership and generational wealth for decades. And the effects, they're still being felt today. Just look at the wealth disparities in this country. Look at the wealth gap. You can't tell me no different. This America was built on the backs of Black Americans. They wasn't Americans then. So America was built on the backs of enslaved people. And you think that this just gonna get better? You're crazy as fuck. The war on drugs, fast forward to the 80s, the war on drugs was marketed as a way to keep communities safe. But we know the truth. It was a war on Black families. Mass incarcerations skyrocketed, tearing families apart and leaving generations to deal with the fallout. How many of y'all had the crackhead auntie uncle, like from the 80s? Now, don't get me wrong. I love me a little crackhead moment. Okay. I love me a little crackhead. They be entertaining. Don't get me wrong, but that's still, there's a reason that they, maybe drugs was dropped off in the Black neighborhood and then it was picked up. Okay. I forgot what president it was. I want to say it was Hoover that put the drugs in the Black community, but I could be wrong. But I know for a fact it was a president. And look, look what happened. Because white people was doing drugs too, but they wasn't being incarcerated at the same rate as Black people. They was selling drugs too, and they wasn't incarcerated at the same rate. If you guys haven't seen The Godfather of Harlem, you should watch it. Like Bumpy Johnson and then the white Italians. It's not gonna give you everything, but it'll inform you on a lot. The welfare reform in the 90s, then cutting benefits and imposing strict work requirements disproportionately affected Black single mothers, many of whom were already struggling to make ends meet. And the welfare, they so I remember my daddy telling me that he had a problem with welfare back in the day. Not necessarily that he was on it. Not necessarily that not necessarily that he was on it or that his mama was on it, because I don't really know. But the fact that um it was like he was like, if you was on welfare, you couldn't have a man in the house. And I feel like that's still a thing today because I feel like I know people who I don't know if welfare is Section 8 is not. I don't really know if welfare is Section 8 or not. But like you can't have extra people in the house. So when they used to have, he was telling me like, oh yeah, when if you was dating a girl or if you was married to a woman who was on welfare, you had to pack your shit up every month when the inspection came, and it was a surprise inspection. And I had a friend who told me like sometimes depending on where you lived at, people would snitch on you, and they would be like, oh yeah, she living with so and so, she got a man in that house, and snatch your welfare right the fuck up. Like things like this have been created to tear the black family and the black community away. Um, my point here is these policies don't come with warning labels. They don't say, "Hey, we're about to set your community back 50 years." But if we don't pay attention, that's exactly what's gonna happen. Y'all gonna look up, blink of an eye, and I will be the first to admit, maybe because of the household I was raised in, I think I would be okay with separated but equal. And I don't mean like 50s, 60s Ruby, can't think of her last name, but Ruby, the girl who went to school, who was bussed out to go to a white school. Uh, I feel bad for not knowing her last name, but I'm gonna insert it with a little asterisk. You know her name? What's her name? There we go. Ruby Bridges. Ruby Bridges, okay. I don't mean like Ruby Bridges separated but equal. I mean generally, genuinely separated but equal. Like I would be okay with that. Y'all remember Black Wall Street? Look what happened to them. They was separated. They wasn't equal, but they was over here building fucking wealth, and the people did not like that. The people did not like that they were literally some of the blacks were surpassing them in wealth, and they didn't like that. So they destroyed that. I I'd be the first to admit I might be okay with a little separated but equal. But heavy on the equal part. I'm not racist in any way, shape, or form. You can't tell me I am, but that's just my thing. And the thing is, we have always fought back, whether it was James Baldwin's essays or Kendrick Lamar's music. Black art and activism has always been at the forefront of resistance. So we know how to fight, and but we have to know what we're fighting against. So again, if all the people who be like,
We are not our ancestors. We are not our ancestors.
bitch, you're definitely right. Because our ancestors was out in the streets. Our ancestors boycotting. Our ancestors had the whole damn Montgomery bus line shut down because they wasn't taking the bus, baby. They was over there carpooling. They was walking. They was doing what they had to do. Now, me personally, I'm not walking. I'm sorry to tell y'all. I don't even want to walk up the street. Uh, I personally don't want to catch somebody's bus either. I don't want to catch a Lyft or an Uber. That's why I got my own car. But that's not the point. That's not the point. I would definitely help y'all get to where y'all need to be. But me catch the bus or me walk, I'm not with y'all on that. I'm sorry to my ancestors, but I'm not with y'all on that one. Um, but like I said, they crawled so that I could walk, and I'm walking. I'm living their wildest dreams. Really want to be 100. I'm living their wildest dreams. So, okay. Now that we have the context, let's talk about specific. I'm a little. I can't look you in the eye no more now that I know. Okay. How Project 25, because I did 2025 is how Project 25 affects the black community specifically. Because really that's my main focus. 'Cause I'm black. Y'all ain't know I'm black. My first focus for women's rights is black rights. I'm just gonna keep it 100. But prioritization. Let's try this again. Privatization, privatization. Whew, baby, public service goods about to be private. Okay, private. Fuck the word. Privatizing, private, privatizing, privatizing education. Privatize the education. It might sound like a good idea, but here's the reality: public schools in Black communities are already underfunded. Taking away federal support would only make things worse. Because let's be honest, we as a people are not we not paying for our kids' education like that. We not donating. Hell, half of y'all don't even go to PTA meetings. If I'm being honest, I came from a two parent home. I can't. I came from a two-parent household, and I can name on one hand how many times I see my parent at a PTA meeting. Okay, and again, that's just speaking for me and mine. But are y'all really going to PTA meetings? And y'all gonna let the federal government unfederalize these damn schools? Oh, y'all kids is gonna. No offense to nobody who got no kids, but the children are no longer our future at this point. The way the government got us going, the children are no longer our future. And I'm speaking that as someone who might not have had none because I go into my own reasons later about why I do not have kids. But healthcare rollbacks. And honestly, I do have an episode planned where I do want to talk to a nurse. So um the disparities in healthcare and Black healthcare can be spoken on a little bit more in that episode. But healthcare is already a crisis for us. Rolling back protections under the Affordable Care Act would mean more uninsured families, higher medical debt, and worse health outcomes. Now, what I did learn from TikTok, right? Because y'all president tried to ban TikTok, but what I did learn from TikTok is if you don't pay your medical bills and they sell your debt to a debt collector, you could eventually sue them because that's a HIPAA violation. And then you don't have to pay your medical bills. That's a HIPAA violation. That's just what I learned from TikTok. So let the medical bills rack up because they gonna serve you anyway. They can't turn you away. Last I checked, that wasn't in 25, but I could be wrong. They can't turn you away, so let them keep billing you. And when they sell your information to a bill to a debt collector, you tell them that it's a HIPAA violation, and you go for everything that's worth. Now again, I did get this from TikTok, so tread lightly, but so far TikTok ain't steered me wrong. That's all I'm gonna say. Um, Another thing that Project 2025 aims at is the social impact, the criminal justice reform, reversals. So we've made some progress in criminal justice reform, but Project 2025 threatens to undo that. More incarceration means broken families and communities. Your daddy's is getting locked up. Your mama's is getting locked up. And then what? That's just a broken home. The kids gonna be in foster care. People don't even want kids these days, and they damn sure, if I'm being honest, don't want Black kids. That's no tea, no shade. That's no tea, no shade, because if I was to adopt somebody's kid, I would adopt a Black kid. But from what I've seen, Black kids are least likely to be adopted. And the ones that do get adopted by like white families, I actually seen a story on Instagram recently where this lady and her husband was adopting Black kids and having them as slaves. So do with that what you may, but be careful. Don't be out here getting locked up. You have to think about your kids these days. And let's not forget about the environment. Okay, loosening regulations means more pollution in areas that are already dealing with toxic waste and poor air quality. Areas where we live. I don't know about y'all, but I personally drink spring water, and that does not make a difference in this situation because if the water is polluted, the water is polluted, whether it's spring or purified. But um, you know, Yeah, I personally don't drink purified water, but I feel like if it's polluted, it's polluted, and if it's not regulated, y'all gonna start fucking up the spring water, and I can taste the difference. I just want you to know that because people be like, "Oh, water is water," and the fuck is not. Those are people who say water is not water drinkers, and I know it's not the topic of this episode today, but I just need y'all to know people who say water is not water drinkers because every water has a different taste. Every single one. Dasani is disgusting. Unless you guys want to sponsor me, then you're amazing, and I will take all I will take all comments back. No, I won't. No, I won't. I'm sorry. I can't. I can't lie for money. Dasani is. eh, yeah, no, because I want my credibility to stand. I want y'all to trust me, and when I endorse the product, I really want y'all to know, like, I really fuck with that product, and I just can't do it. Dasani is disgusting. Arrowhead is disgusting. Some goddamn spring water. Um, yeah, I used to really love Fiji. I used to only drink Fiji water, but it's expensive, and I don't think it tastes the same. I don't know what's going on over there in Fiji, but the water, I don't know. It just don't taste the same to me. But that's just me. Um, okay, so look, I'm not gonna say here and lie to you. I can drink purified water. It's not a preference. It has to be straight out the refrigerator cold. Anything less than, I'm not drinking it. I promise you. I will hold that bottle until I leave your sight. I don't know. I'll just hold the bottle because I give it away to people though. When they come to my house and they be like, "Oh, you got some water?" And I just feel like you got a water drinker, I will give. If you're not a water drinker, then I preferably will give you a purified water. So I want to say with this refrigerator that we have now, we do change the filter. I did serve somebody one time water out of our refrigerator that we ain't changed the filter in about 15, 20 years, and woo, they tasted it and said it was disgusting, and I believe them. I didn't have to try it. I believe them, but yeah, I drink spring water preferably. I'll be honest with y'all. I probably was drinking purified water to begin with. When I didn't know no better. And then I was gonna say Africa, but I went to Alabama. Yo, that's crazy. I went to Alabama probably like in elementary school. We used to go for the summer, and somebody turned us on to purify. No, somebody turned us on to spring water. And ever since then, we made the transition from spring water to purified water. That's also about the time we stopped drinking whole milk. Started drinking 2%, and now I'm at almond. But that has nothing to do with this conversation. But I just wanted to bring y'all into my healthy choices of 2025. I just feel like for everybody who voted for Trump, again, and I don't really care how you voted, vote how you vote. But for everybody who voted for Trump, I hope you know that this is your America for the next 4 years, and anything that happens that you don't particularly like, I don't give a fuck, and I don't want to hear about it because this was your vote. This is your vote coming to fruition. So if something happens to you, or somebody you love, unfortunately, that's very unfortunate. But I don't feel as bad if you voted for Trump because this is what you voted for. I won't even get into like the deportation thing because, that's something I'm not even gonna say a lot of y'all. I need to educate myself on before I voted. That wasn't one concern, unfortunately. I know it should be everybody's concern, but it wasn't. It really wasn't my concern. Didn't sway me one way or another. On my way I voted, but for everybody who didn't vote, um, this is your America too. This is because you didn't vote. This is what you get. You should have no complaints. I don't want to hear you complaining because you had the opportunity to vote and you chose not to. For those of us who did vote, however you voted, congratulations. You deserve a round of applause. But I just feel like personally, This was a bad start to Black History Month 2025. Um, oh, this isn't a favorite episode because maybe I was finna go put on my African jersey real quick and bring it to you. Okay, but next week is Black History Month, and I'm gonna do my best to present some Black history to y'all. In each episode, might have missed one. Um, but I plan to, I gotta find me a nice dashiki, a nice little kofu. So y'all see, I know the words, I know how to pronounce them. So if y'all know where I can get me a nice little dashiki, I was gonna order one off Amazon and return it, and maybe I should because Amazon is one of them places that said they rolling back on their DEI program, which really hurt my feelings because goddamn Amazon, I buy from you a lot. You and Target. I also heard it was Target, Amazon, Walmart. I ain't shop at Walmart no way, so that part didn't phase me. But Target and Amazon. Now I know it's just one little dollar. It's just my little dollar, and it might be others. I don't know. I'm not speaking for nobody. I'm not really asking y'all to boycott. Although I am saying you should do what you feel like is best. Um, but Target and Amazon, they just can't get my little coin. Not for a while. I want to say forever, but Amazon is a very big company, and I feel like they have monopolized a lot of online shopping. Because they have some sellers, so then the prices hit different. Okay, one seller selling it for $50, another seller selling it for 25. You know, I like that, but looks like I'm gonna be a Costco shopper for a while, and that's okay because, like I said in the beginning of this episode, I love me some Costco. I got the Costco hot dogs in the freezer right now, but I still go and buy me one every time I go to Costco. That's why I just feel like Costco should sponsor me. The hot dogs for sure. Costco food court, I deserve a check. If anybody is watching and you work at Costco, because I feel like it's getting up there. I feel like we getting recognized. I feel like somebody somewhere that got that work somewhere in Costco is gonna promote this and be like, "Hey yo, she really goes to Costco 4 times a week and buys a hot dog." I don't even just sample. I buy the hot dogs every time. Go ahead and sponsor me. It might go completely against my diet, but go ahead and sponsor. And I'll be there every day. Every day y'all open. I remember I went one time. Oh, you know what? I'm getting off track. But Costco, they DEI, they said they're not rolling back nothing. And I was in the comments of some page on Instagram. And again, y'all gonna start seeing me in the comments more often. I'll explain later in a different episode why I don't comment. But well, where I wasn't commenting. Um that was like, oh well, Costco, they rolled back their DEI program too. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. He's just spreading lies now. He's spreading lies, and you need to know what you're talking about. Because Costco came out and said that they were. And I said, look at my store. That was almost like them sponsoring me. I felt so proud of Costco. I said, ooh, that's just one short of a sponsorship around here. You know, it's just one short of a sponsorship. I said, well, I'm one step getting closer to getting sponsored by Costco. That's all they told me. It's me and Costco on the same page. I don't know about Sam's Club. Oh, Sam's Club and Walmart are the same company. So I'm assuming if Walmart rolled back their DEI program and Sam's Club rolled back theirs. I don't have a Sam's. Sticking with. Let's see. So now that we've talked about the problem, how about we talk about the solution and what can we do to protect our community? Because if you've been listening to this podcast from day one and you haven't learned nothing else about us, then you should know that we are first and foremost for the Black community. Okay, we got jokes around here. We laugh, we joke, we talk shit. But at the end of the day, we are for our people, first and foremost. I don't really care how our people feel about our people sometimes, because sometimes I really do not like black people. I'm be honest. Sometimes I don't, but I still love y'all. First and foremost, I still love y'all. So, you can educate yourself and others. Um, n- Knowledge is power. My daddy used to say that they said that if you want to keep something from black people, put it in the book. Now, the book is everywhere. The book is open. That book can be on the internet for all I care. The book is the book. The point I'm saying is educate yourself, read up on shit, find out shit for yourself. um, and don't be afraid to share what you learn, okay, and have those uncomfortable conversations. Cause I probably, if I'm being honest, not the most educated political friend I know, right? I'm far from it. I had this conversation with Mr. 95, and we were talking about something. It had to do with Trump. And he was like, "Oh, well, I know you don't care." And I was like, "I surely don't. Unless it affects me and my household, I usually don't care about a lot. Like, unless it affects me or my household, baby, do what you do." That's why what goes on outside these four walls, I don't be giving a fuck about. I give a fuck about you though. I do. I give a fuck about you. But I don't give a fuck about nothing that really goes on outside these four walls, because as long as me and mine are safe, that's all that matters. As long as me and mine are happy and y'all are happy and having very good mental days and getting through your weeks, because whew, baby, um the president has been the president for, oh, I don't have a watch on. 3 days, maybe a week, in 3 days by the time this episode comes out. Um and maybe it's been a struggle. It's gonna be a long 4 years. Another way that you can do another thing that you can do is get involved locally. Um, Local elections do matter. I personally need to, if I'm being honest, get better on that. Voting locally, your city council, school board, if you have kids, and state legislators have a huge say in these policies and how they play out. Get involved, show up to meetings, make your voices heard, go to them PTA meetings. I know they're probably boring, but go to them. Your city hall meetings, I'm sure they're probably boring, but if you care about your community and what goes on, you need to start getting involved and getting those around you involved. Um, how people have like pregnancy packs, if I get pregnant, you get pregnant, or virginity packs. I don't need to explain that. You got it with the pregnancy. Y'all can do like, city hall meet packs. I go to a meeting, you go to a meeting, we go to a meeting together, and then we get involved and we show up. Um, I personally don't live in a small town, but I always feel like I belong in a small town. And I feel like if I lived in a town where everybody knows your business, I would be at them city hall meetings. Now I live in a big city. I don't know where the city hall meeting. Um, but I'm gonna start posting them so that people can get involved and we can have our voices be heard, because that is important. And in order to make change, we have to be heard. So I will do my part, and I hope that you guys are doing your part. You can also support Black led organizations, donate or volunteer with organizations that are fighting for racial equality. Groups like the NAACP, the ACLU, or grassroots organizations need help and support. I'll be honest, I did have an uncle. I don't know if he's still a part of it, but I did have an uncle who was part of the NAACP. And when I first heard about it, I thought the NAACP was like so huge, so I didn't know how he was a part of it. But I guess it's something that you can be a part of as just like a regular person. I thought you had to be like Al Sharpton, um, Jesse Jackson. I thought you had to be like them to be a part of it, but I guess you don't. Um, so I will, if you'd like more information on that, I will leave the NAACP information down in the bio, the link, I'm gonna leave it somewhere so you can find it. And I also post it to our page um after this video releases. I can put that on my calendar. After this video releases so that you can find ways to be involved. Because these organizations do need your help. They need our help. And I'm saying yours, like I shouldn't be involved as well. And I should, because I would like for these kids to be our future. Um, I would like for us to have a better future. Um, so I need to be getting involved as well. That's not part of my 2025 vision, but um, it can be because I feel like it's important, and I feel like we have to be the change that we want to see in this. I don't know who said that, but I know we need to be the change that we want to see. If I want y'all to be involved, I also need to take that step and get involved. Stay vocal. Social media can be a powerful tool. Use your platform, no matter how big or small, to raise awareness. Um, I don't care if you have less than 100 followers or if you have over 1 million. Okay, your voice still matters. Your voice needs to be heard, and you can share it, and somebody can share it from your page, and maybe it can take off like that. So you never know what's gonna stick with people. Use whatever angle you got to get it. Okay. How are we looking at on time? Okay. So before I get into this Reddit, I feel like we as a community and as a whole have faced challenges like this before, and we've come out stronger, but we can't afford to sit this one out. Our history is a testament to our resilience, and our future depends on our action. So I need you guys to get out there and let your motherfucking voices be heard. So today we have a Reddit, and I decided to do one that leads into Black history. I have an Am I the Asshole, a Reddit that says, Am I the asshole for not wanting to give my baby a black name? Now, I don't know what a black name is, but I know I got one. I know I got about two of them. Sure. I'm not even going to tell y'all what it is, but just know I got about two black names for sure. So it says, my husband, 32. Oh, my. Oh, this is why I low key hate the way y'all write Reddits. Okay, but whatever. I'm gonna give it to you. My 32 female husband, 30 male, and I are both white. Oh my goodness. And live in the US. Right now, I'm 5 months pregnant with our first son. My husband and his best friend, who was black, were thrilled to hear it was a boy. They've been close for a long time, and I also consider him one of my own friends. His friend has a son and a daughter. Apparently, both he and his wife had personal boy names, both first and middle. They really wanted for a son. His wife's name idea was someone who passed away only a bit before she gave birth. He caved and let her name their son, both the first and middle name she wanted. They planned on having a bigger family, so he figured he could just name their second son. Their birth of their daughter was very difficult, and now his wife can't have any more biological kids. His daughter is now a toddler, and he still constantly complains about not getting to give a son the name he wanted. It's the name of his younger brother who got sick and passed away. He has no other siblings, so the name doesn't have anyone to be passed down to. I don't have any strong name preferences. I just couldn't think of anyone that really resonated with me. My husband was happy when I said he could choose one and we could discuss it together. A couple days ago, we were at a little get together where he and his friends sat down. They said they thought it would be a fantastic idea to give our son the name his friend always wanted to pass on. I don't understand why he wants to pass on the name to a child he isn't even related to. But I didn't mention any of that. But you mentioned it was black name. Okay. I don't know how to word this without sounding super weird, but the name he's thinking of is very obviously a black name. I think those names are beautiful, but I don't want to give my son one. I guess my thoughts were seen on my face and they asked what was wrong. I decided to be blunt and say, I'm not a huge fan of that name for our son. They began to conduct some sort of interrogation on why I don't want that name. My husband kept pointing out when I said I didn't have a preference for anyone in particular. His I'm sorry. His friend blurted out, "Wait, I bet you think it's a stupid ghetto name." It's not funny, but she white and these people is black, and it probably is a ghetto name. I don't care what they say. I hope she listens in this Reddit. My mind was racing and I couldn't organize my thoughts fast enough. He then got up and left. My husband wouldn't talk to me again until we were home later that night. He was very upset that my bigotry was stopping me from giving my son a very nice name just because he's white. It is a nice name, but I had some personal history related to this topic. I have a half sister, a couple years younger than me, who is mixed. She has a very light skin complexion, though. She has a name that's similar to the one I'm thinking of. She was bullied a lot by a bunch of bratty kids. Sometimes even adults would scoff or make a remark how she certainly doesn't seem the type to be stuck with a name like that. She's confused me how sometimes she I'm assuming you meant confided in me. She confided in me how sometimes she feels the name makes people take her less seriously. A couple of my friends who are black with those type of names have told me the same thing. They're all nice names, but it's a damn shame the world is so bigoted that even grown ass adults see people with those names as lesser than. I truly hope the world can become accepting enough so that people with those names don't have a second thought about them. But that world doesn't exist yet, and I feel like my son might struggle a bit in this cruel slash judgy world. Even after explaining all this, my husband is still mad and says I'm just as bad as those who made fun of those names by remaining a bystander. Oh, yeah, I like your husband. I don't know, I kind of like him. Apparently, since I mentioned the name was fine aesthetically, the only thing that's the issue is my prejudice. Some of my friends say the same thing. This whole pregnancy has left me so exhausted, I don't want to deal with anything anymore. I can't even think straight. I'm feeling more and more guilty about this. Am I the asshole? Um, I'm sorry. This shit was funny to me. Because when you said the title of the Reddit confused me to begin with. You said, "Am I the asshole for not wanting to give my baby a black name?" Now, even though you did put it in quotes, I didn't know that the quotes meant you were white. Um, I need to know the name. Like, I need to know the name. Is the name like Taishuan? No, no. Like. Is a name like Taekwon, like Daquan, like what is the name that is so black that you don't want to give your baby this name? I don't know, baby girl. I just find the whole situation funny. Maybe because I'm an outsider looking in. I find the whole situation funny. I find it funny that your husband is calling you bigoted, and he basically saying, "Hey, you ain't." He basically said, "Hey, yo, you just as bad as people who stood by and talk shit." Like, I don't know. I don't want to say you're an asshole, but the quotes just makes it, I feel like, bad. It makes it even worse. Cause you ain't list the name. And I feel like at least you should list the name. Cause your husband not gonna know you this. You ain't list your sister's name. Like, I'll be honest, I wasn't and I'm not obviously a biracial kid. But I feel like biracial kids get talked about regardless, whether it's their names, the way they look. Because I've heard from a lot of biracial people that they don't feel black enough for the black people and they don't feel white enough for the white people. And obviously, I'm just talking about the black and white kids. I ain't talking about nobody else. But they don't feel black enough for the black kids, and then they obviously not white enough for the white kids. So biracial kids just got their own problems anyway. Um, Now to give them an overly black name, you probably are adding to the problem. And your mama was probably wrong in that aspect. Um, she could have did a nice little Ashley, a nice little Brittany, a Megan. Yeah. I don't know if she named your daughter, your sister. I gotta think of a black name. Shaquan. That's overly black. Or I don't know if y'all watch Martin, but Kilolo. That's yeah. A biracial girl with the name Kilolo? Could you imagine? Especially if she got fair skin. Could you imagine that? Baby, they eating her ass alive. Um, so yeah, I can't imagine. They could have named it just as her little Serenity. That fits for a biracial kid. 100%. That fits for a biracial kid. Now you not wanting to name your son this name because of the stories you've heard from your sister. Your son's not gonna have that same story. I'm gonna be honest. Because he's not a biracial kid. Like he's not gonna go through what she went through. She's a. You think he is? Oh, you think he is? Okay. Well, I don't think he is because I gotta know the thing that's really getting me is I don't know how black the name is. Like I feel like that makes a difference. Like, are we talking about Nice Eugene? Because that could be that's not too black. A nice little Quentin, that's not too black. Um, I was finna start naming names that was a little too close to home. I was gonna get my ass ate up in the public, in private. Jaquavius, that's a little too black for a white kid, if I'm being honest. Uh, a nice little Todd, that's not bad for a white kid. Are you talking about like Barack? That might be too much for a white kid. It just depends. Barack is biracial, so who knows? It might be okay. But I feel like Barack gets away with it because black people love him. I don't think black people even acknowledge him as biracial. They acknowledge him as black. But, you know, he gets away with it. But how black are we talking? My daddy used to want to name my daddy, he wanted a lot of kids. He only had three. And I'll fight you if you come and tell me he has more. I'm keeping 100 with you. Don't play them games with me. I will fight you if you try to convince me that my daddy got more than three. Um, but he only had three kids, and he wants to name one of his kids black as fuck name. Um, it wasn't Malachi. Ndugu, yeah, I gotta do it with the accent and everything. I do it with the accent. If if your friends out here like my daddy wanted he wanted a whole lot of kids, so He wanted to name one of his kids Ndugu. Okay, and now if you try to name your white kid Ndugu, you gotta say it like that. So it really was the black on it, Ndugu. Then yeah, baby, I would scratch that. He did name his black kids. So he had Jamal, but Jamal wasn't that bad, right? So that one can get away with it in school. I think originally he didn't like the name, but I think it grew on him, and then eventually like that's actually a pretty cool name if you think about it, Jamal. And the second one, Raheem. Now Raheem, baby, that was black, and he didn't like that. He did not like that one at all. To this day, he don't like that one at all. But my daddy used to lie and tell people his middle name was Raheem. That man ain't had no middle name. That man just, oh my God, baby. When I tell you, I want to tell y'all, he was just lie sometimes in the most funniest ways. I found this completely off topic, but it's still black names. So I found one of his old yearbooks. Baby, that man had a whole completely different name in that yearbook. I said, sir, who is this? Why your yearbook and your ID picture got different names? What? That man was lying to them people. Okay? It lied so much he put Raheem on official documents. That ain't his name. That's not on his birth certificate. I just want y'all to know that. That's not on his birth certificate at all. So if you want to name your white kid something like Raheem or Nduku, then I'm not gonna say you the asshole for not wanting to go there, but yeah, baby, talk to your husband. Okay. Yeah, tell him that's just crazy. Your son will be picked on from birth to death. Nduku? Oh, baby. You can't outlive that one. That would go down in history books. Okay? Your son would definitely be talked about. It don't matter if he changes his name. He's getting talked about. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you didn't, drop it in the comments, let me know. Again, this isn't really our type of thing. We're not really into politics like that, but I just felt like getting into Black history, we should have a conversation because we might be back where we were when Ruby Bridges was going to before the end of this 4-year term is up. So with that being said, I hope that you guys are having an amazing week. I hope that you like, comment, and subscribe. I hope that you share this episode. And I also hope that you tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend to pull up and let their voice be heard. And I'll see you guys next week's episode. Bye. You're still here? You know the show's over, right? Don't cry. We'll be back next week. I gotta go be a hoochie. In the meantime, catch up on the older episodes.